So, the devs dropped some news this week that I really would have expected to come with the big announcement on the 30th. So, as you guys know, the community is in a real state at the moment of fever, wondering what the devs actually have to talk to us about with their big, new, ambitious projects. We knew from the April 2nd blog post that some of the disciplines were finally getting higher levels. So right now, Chef only goes up to 400. This is where it's been since vanilla. On April 2nd, they announced that it would go higher. And I could have sworn that it would be clarified, and part of the 30th announcement in just a few days would have been on this. But instead, the devs have revealed that information already. We have a blog post and a stream. That's what I'm going to talk to you guys about in this video. But I do want to open up just now saying, hold on, that means the 30th will have other details. They've actually filled that show with even other stuff, and that fills me with more excitement. It means that the 30th is not going to be bagged down, so to speak, with stuff on this. It will be about other things. Build templates are obviously still on the table, and maybe we'll find that on the 30th. But anyway, so let's talk about the devs' plan for 400 chefing. Way back when they announced that it was actually in the books that they were going to be doing this, I speculated on some stuff. It's interesting because Guild Wars 2 is not really about power creep. It's not about vertical progression. They always try to be very refined. And indeed, if you look at the stat gains you get from being exotic versus ascended, it's always been very incremental. So you can get by without going all the way to ascended. What the devs don't want to do with these upcoming foods and rewards for being a new higher level chef is create a bunch of foods that you're now forced to use because they're so much better than the previous ones, and now the tax on gameplay is much higher. You know, that's a significant thing when we talk about equipment, certainly, and breaking away from gear treadmill attributes from other MMOs. But it's even more prominent when you think about consumables, because consumables do run out and they are a continual price on you. I really don't like the idea of Guild Wars 2 going into a place where all the lower tier like pug runs of fractals and raids and stuff, and even open world, people are requiring you to spend enormous amounts of ascended materials to get by. There's lots of weird things to think about. Like, for all the other ascended level crafts, you have these daily time-gated things that you make. Is that going to be rolled in? Well, we just didn't know. One speculation I did make was that the ascended tier could use feasts. So feasts already exist in the game. So for example, if I type feast here, we've got a feast of truffle steak. What a feast is it's the regular foods that you'll be able to create. So this is a level 80 food here from the previous max level, but I can boil them together and drop a feast. So I create a consumable anyone can touch. Now, I actually really like feasts as a mechanic. I think they're brilliant. I think they tap into like the social elements of MMOs, and I like the idea of all the top-end foods being feasts so that you see them more regularly, and there's that communal feel to when you go into a raid. Not only is the best in slot food what you want, but it's also cost effective for your 10-man group to have one person craft it up, and then everybody like chows down. Maybe they offer it as a gift to people, and so on. We already see a lot of this kind of stuff happens anyway, people mailing each other foods, and so I liked the idea back in April of feasts being higher level, and well, that's what the devs have revealed here. So let's jump on in. Like I said, there's been a stream and a blog post. Let's go through the blog post first, and I'll supplement this information with what we know from the stream. So they said here, just a couple of days ago, party harder with ascended food. This is coming on Tuesday, guys, so very soon. It's before, you know, any of their new plans for Season 5 or whatever. So here's what they say, and they could have bundled that together. It's almost time for the Guild Wars 2's 7th anniversary celebration, so why not bring along a dish or two to share with your fellow players? Go big with ascended quality feast that will satisfy cravings for delicious food and combat efficacy. On August 27th, you'll be able to level up your cooking skill to 500. So, I think Head Start was August 25th, so this is actually a couple of days after, like, our super nerds that did the Head Start. But yeah, it's going to be on the anniversary. So, you can go all the way to 500, but 425 is the special moment. So, what's going to happen post-patch is I'll be able to continue climbing, and I'll get my next 25 levels just from using regular, already existent recipes, just crafting various foods. At 425, things start to change. You hit the diminishing returns on experience and stuff, obviously. And so, check it out. Sous Chef Seema Oxbone will contact you to check on your progress. So, this is a living world character that we've interacted with a few times, and is most prominently known as a guy that cares about bloodstone dust. He's trying to make bloodstone dust work with food, and, you know, the in-joke is that there's bloodstone dust everywhere in the game. When champion bags got added, they were dropping on everyone's accounts like mad, so the devs kind of had fun with it in the story. Well, as of this patch, when we go up to higher level food, he will actually find one, it seems, as the stream revealed. So they say when you reach 425, he'll contact you. You get a mail. Here, I'll throw it on screen for you guys. They showed this off on the stream. And interestingly, he's going to take you to your home instance. So this is, you know how like scribing could only be done at guild halls? This seems to be similar in that you can only do the higher level recipes and stuff at a special new crafting station that you're going to go on a quest to build. So over here on the blog post, check it out. It says, impress him with your skills. He'll write you a letter of recommendation that sends you off on a journey to study with master chefs in every capital city. While you're leveling your cooking skill, you'll also graduate to a better class of tools and raw ingredients. So new stuff coming. Each instructor will help you obtain what you need, from a cutting-edge oven to high-quality meat and garden fresh herbs. So here's what the devs revealed on stream. That once you hit 425, you get your letter of recommendation. Each of the 5 races has a different selection of new, higher level foods that are kind of themed around that race. So like with the Char, there's lots of meat-oriented things, right? With the Sylvari, it's very planty things. I think that the humans at Divinity's Reach are kind of puddings and desserts and stuff, which is kind of weird. But the idea is, as you do this quest, you take your letter of recommendation to various experts, and they will have you create different stuff. So what's a truly master chef in real life? Well, you know, a chef that grows their own ingredients. And there's a whole chain that you'll go on for the story where you're doing your own little garden, I think. The thing that they showed off on the stream was right here, where the culinary application for bloodstone dust is revealed to be bloodstone bricks in an oven. You make a really good oven out of bloodstone bricks, and this allows you to produce really high quality foods. And this is all like proper modeled stuff. It's not just user interface achievement oriented things, you know, trying to emulate traditional quests as Guild Wars 2 often struggles with. But you actually end up seeing this nice looking oven that appears in your home instance, and hopefully other things too. I'm interested in this whole growing your own crops, because if you remember when they did the gardening update, I'll go to my, actually we'll check out the Char one, I think is the best place for us to go. If you remember when they did the gardening update purely on the Black Lion store a while ago, it was an update we had a lot of discussion with, because gardening is a cool thing, and then it just ended up like as this weird feature that just came for people who bought the licenses on Black Lion. But if you remember that, they expanded the home instances to have these little garden areas. Every single home instance has a different one. You teleport to it as the Norn, use a bouncing mushroom as the Sylvari, there's a jump pad for Divinity's Reach. Over here on the Char, it's just here, and you could buy 2 separate plots, right? But they never sold a third. This third plot was never sold. Now I wonder whether we'll finally be able to fill this one in, not through Black Lion, but through this core free update that's coming to the game with 500 chefing. That would be pretty nice. But they've said, I think, that with the Char, it's a quest to learn how to butcher the finest of meats. Or maybe that's the Norn, you know, there's a very hunty thing, but then it's kind of a meaty thing. I guess we'll see. But yeah, so that's the idea, and it's going to be more than just building the craft up. There's extra content layered on top, which is more than what we can say for, say, going to Artificing 500 or to go to Tailing, or even Scribing. Scribing was added, you know, a lot later. You can't go to 500 Scribe, maybe one day we can. But, you know, Scribing was very special in a lot of its details and never had anything quite like what the devs are describing here. So this is all really cool to me. Let's check this out. Refined and adventurous taste. Ascended, and so here's why we want to do it, which is going to be the main thing on most people's mind. Here's what the devs originally said in the blog post. That ascended food provides a primary stat, a secondary stat, and a passive or triggered effect. So all the foods now will be uniform in that you're getting double stats plus an extra perk, okay? So there's some foods in the game that give you a perk like Lifesteal on crit and a stat, but sometimes they don't have like the full thing fleshed out. Well, here, this is what they're doing, uniform. Every time you'll get all 3. Kind of like, I liken this to how in your gear, if you're Berserker, you get power, precision, and ferocity. Well, here you're going to get primary, secondary, and then the perk. But that's not all. In addition to these, which by the way are power crept, we'll get to in a second, you'll also gain bonuses to XP, Karma, Magic Find, Gold Find, and World vs. World experience points. So if you think about like the birthday blaster that they did on one of the other anniversaries a few years ago, fire it in people's face, it gives them all stats, but also these extra layers on top. Well, here, every ascended food also gets this too. The main consideration for me is I really like the balance of current level 400 foods where, for example, when seaweed salad was a thing, you could seaweed salad under traditional, you know, purchase prices and crafting, or you could kind of go to Bitterfrost Frontier and use the special recipe, supplementing one of the ingredients for a different type of berry or whatever, and I think it had karma on it too, right? I like the balance of being able to get the same stats, but there's a slightly different version that maybe gives you karma on top or something. And now that we have 500, if they just all give you both, does that kind of invalidate what's really fun here? I think, by the way, speaking on seaweed salad, it would be very hilarious if there was a super power crept seaweed salad variant with chefing 500 now, bringing us back to the seaweed salad days, like a bit of a regression or something. I'd feel nostalgic and weird about that, but it's an interesting thought experiment in just how much they could do with the game now that all these new foods are coming in, because some foods really did change your playstyle in the history of Guild Wars 2, and we could see that return at any point, I suppose. So going on, they say that every ascended food will have an hour duration, and they're all feasts, so all your friends can grab a helping, as already described. Tyrian cultures have their own staple foods and cooking techniques, and the master chefs you'll work with have developed innovative dishes and tools that play to their strengths. When you plan your picnic basket, make sure to include something for everyone. So they say picnic basket here. They actually revealed on stream that, so feasts are interesting, guys, in that a lot of foods in the game are just, you know, an icon in your inventory, right? This is the flavor you get out of red lentil and flatbread, right? It's just the icon. And the devs can play with that. But feasts are kind of cool in that because they get placed in the world, they have a physical model. And some of those, there's a lot of different models that they have. Some of them are like picnic baskets. Some of them are like big boiling pots of soup. Based on what you've gone with, the model can change. They got a fair few. I really like them, and some of them are very rare to see. Well, for the Ascended stuff, they're all feasts too. So what have the devs gone with? Well, they showed on stream, it's like a bunch of plates that get put on the ground and spin around. And it looks gorgeous, right? It's very, very, very detailed and intricate. Works really well with ultra shadows and stuff. But I'm almost a little bit disappointed. It looks like what the devs have done is they've gone with one generic feast model that will be used for every single 500 food. And the idea is on all the different plates you can see what the foods are. Some of them are like bacon related and stuff. In fact, if you really squeeze your eyes and look at the stream, you might be able to guess at what some of the other foods are based on their models as they swing around. But I almost feel like the devs might have missed an opportunity there. What it means is going forward in Guild Wars, we're just going to see all these little stacks of spinning plates. No matter what people have picked or what the meta is, it's just going to be stacks of spinning plates everywhere. When they already have a huge number of awesome looking models. I almost wish the devs would have just refined the existing one, made them a bit bigger, made them shine or something, I don't know, and then keep that rich palette that they already have and just bring it up to the 500 level. You know, and then maybe add the spinning plates on top if they really want to. So I feel like the variety we'll see in-game might go down a bit, and that disappoints me a bit. But maybe that's not a big deal. Anyway, so here's the flavor theming. Char, pack at least one hearty, sophisticated meat dish. Like a plate of peppercorn spiced beef carpaccio. I'm going to be really bad at reading these, right? They're all going to be fancy food names. Norn, add some complexity. I'm sure the comments are going to fill up with people correcting me here. People love to talk about pronunciations. Norn, add some complexity with more protein and fresh vegetables. A plate of coca-vin with salsa should be enough to go around. Asura, technology makes all the difference in preparation and preservation, and different is a great way to describe a plate of sesame poultry aspic. And Savari needs something light and refreshing to cleanse the palate. Serve up a bowl of fruit salad with orange clove syrup. And finally, for human, if you didn't leave room for dessert, say your prayers. There's a minced strawberry cheesecake just waiting to be devoured. So, I mean, this entire block of text, as the tunnel-visioned nerds we are, it's just flavor, and nobody, like, literally flavor. Nobody really gets a sense of what this will mean for stats and stuff. But on stream, they did show off at least one, which was plus 45 to all stats. And on top of that, steal life on crit. So that's pretty good. Currently, the top tier all-stat foods give you plus 40. So that's going to go up to plus 45 for all attributes. I know that's only a 5-point difference, but for all attributes, that actually ends up a lot. And now you get an entire perk on top too. So it does look substantive. And I'm guessing, guys, the way that the devs will set up this economy, neither the stream nor this blog post have talked about this. And I'm guessing the way that they've set up the economy is they're all feasts, which means every ascended food you make, you're kind of committing to spending a lot of money on. and there's still an idea of using the level 400 foods. They're not going to completely invalidate the level 400 stuff because you only get a minor statistical buff going to 500, but for a massively boosted price that you really only get value out of if you're playing like co-op. So I think we'll find a really nice balance. It means that 500 foods are going to be expensive, but it's a good balance because it means as you're just adventuring around Guild Wars 2, you know, if I go to Gendaran Fields and I see a random feast on the floor now, I'm not going to ignore it because I'll think, oh, it's like a level 30 food or it's a level 60 food or something. If I see an ascended feast, I'm going to eat that because personally, I'll probably still be using level 400 stuff. But if I see one that I can pick up AoE, that's going to be really nice. People might be putting them in Lion's Arch. People might be putting them at lobbies. Like, you'll probably have players that keep like some kind of feast nice and comfortable for people to have at LA, and you log in, you check that each day, and then you go out on your adventure. This is a game where you can just waypoint to the other side of the planet instantly, right? So maybe you just check this out, like the same way you might come here to pick up a spirit banner or something, right? And I really like that balance. I think that's very good, and I think we'll see some positive stuff from there with raids as well, since you're up to 10-man with World versus World. Fractals, you're at a weird kind of 5-man level, and people might not feel like it's valuable. But, you know, extra stats and speedrun communities, they're all going to enjoy that stuff too. So overall, I like the balance that they've got here. The last thing I'll give you guys as a tip is on stream, they did say to build this oven, you're going to need heat stones. Heat stones are daily time gated on their creation. So you've still got enough days to make it now. Get your heat stones rolling, otherwise you're going to get gouged on the trading post on release day. So go for that now. That's it, guys. That's the chefing stuff. There is some other stuff happening in the game with like the champion rush and whatnot, which I want to get to you guys about as well. So stay tuned for that. Let me know what you think about the food reveal. And hey, what does that mean for the 30th announcement too? That's almost one of the more exciting things about this early reveal to me. Cheers, guys. I'll let you guys know how it all goes, and we'll of course be showing this off on the master streams since we get lots of achievement points for that. You know, we just did 90 days in a row, and they'll be returning next Monday just in time for the patch, so that should be very good. If you want a link to that, there's one in the description, so you can share that with me live. Cheers, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you very soon.